The clown car rolled into Atlanta, dropping off a pile of broken toys, minus the batteries. There was Gramps, who sounded like a 10-year-old coming down from the laughing gas after getting a tooth pulled.
The next president of the United States is going to have to do two things. Defeat Donald Trump. That's number one. And number two, it's going to have to be able to go into states like Georgia and North Carolina and other places and get a Senate majority.
Maybe it's not his fault. He did just find out he was a grandfather. Then there was the cop pretending to be something she's not.
I think that it's unfortunate that we have someone on the stage who is attempting to be the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, who during the Obama administration spent 4 years full-time on Fox News criticizing President Obama.
That's
who
ridiculous,
has spent full-time.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to have the guts to go on TV and face tough questions. Maybe you should throw her in jail. And who's this guy again?
But I'm different from everybody else on this stage. I'm the only person on this stage who will say that climate is the #1 priority for me. I'm the only person on this stage who spent decades building an international business. I'm the person who can do it.
Did someone leave John Kerry out in the sun? God, I miss Marianne and Swalwell. He would have been a gas. Dana?
Got it.
Yeah. But thank God they focused on child welfare.
We should codify Roe v. Wade into law.
Understand that it is women who control their own bodies, not politicians.
This is a voting issue. This is a voter suppression issue.
I believe that abortion rights are human rights.
Nice. Yeah, in case you forgot, for Dems, abortion is the ultimate child care. No need for a babysitter when there's no baby to sit. Bottom line, you could have found more fire in a bag of prunes. Impeachment theater drained them of energy and intelligence, leaving them all searching for something to say to each other than Orange Man bad. None of them laid a glove on the other, which is good hygiene. But you know what the debate stage really was? It was that cabin at Camp Crystal Lake from Friday the 13th. And all those candidates are the stupid teenagers making idiotic decisions. Let's check out the basement. Let's go skinny dipping alone. Above all, don't hop in that car and escape. And Trump, he's the ever-present Jason, waiting to pick each and every one of them off. He's there on that stage, even when he isn't. You know, it's sad to think that someday Trump will not be president, and the whole world will look like a Democratic debate. But like Jason, maybe we'll just keep bringing him back. Let's look at the positives. Juan, I thought Booker won. I thought that he expressed energy and brains, and like he could be on stage. But do you think it's too late for him?
No, it's not too late, because I think this is up in the air in many ways. But I don't know why you thought he won. I thought if you were saying, oh, you know what, finally, one of the Democrats defended the rich, because what he said was Elizabeth Warren going after, wealth tax on the rich, the 2% on people who have billions and all. She said, well, wait a second, no. The real way to do this, to appeal to voters, is talk about wealth creation. How can we help you to become rich and the like? But I thought he was pretty much a non-factor early on. He didn't get much airtime. And I thought that if you were looking for a winner and loser scenario, I would say Pete Buttigieg, who's now the front runner in Iowa at least. I don't think anybody went after him. I thought that Elizabeth Warren, again, it's not that she made any breakthroughs, but she stood there, and I think she occupied a lot of time, spoke a lot. And Bernie, I just don't think it changed anything. And if you look at the ratings, I don't think many people were watching.
That's true, Jesse. It really kind of just laid there flat when you were watching it.
I was actually laying flat while I was watching it. I thought it was the worst debate so far. Yeah. I thought it was pathetic, a bunch of platitudes. These people are unwatchable. They're boring. No one's breaking through with any clear policy. There's no even sound bites or sharp exchanges. I mean, they're talking about climate refugees. What is a climate refugee? It's too hot somewhere, so you pack up and move north?
No.
I mean, these things aren't real things that people care about in this country. I heard Biden answer that first question, and I thought to myself, it's officially over for him. He had some dark energy going on last night. He looked medicated. I don't know what was coming out of his mouth. Bernie, you know, what you see is what you get. The billionaires, okay, we know, Bernie, you hate billionaires. I mean, and what's Biden doing? Punching down to Tom Steyer. Why is Kamala Harris punching down to Tulsi Gabbard? It's like these people don't even know how to win elections. Mayor Pete sitting there at 5'3", all polished. No one's laying a glove on him. He's surging. They're not even pretending they know what they're doing. Who's it? Booker acts like Barney. The big purple guy, the cartoon. He's surprised at everything. Oh, gosh, oh, golly. I mean, these are not really impressive candidates. And I think this impeachment thing is actually enhanced Donald Trump's aura. I mean, he's out there besieged by enemies, slaying dragons, slapping around China, killing terrorists, and these people are squabbling over climate refugees. So it's over.
Emily, what do you anything to add to that?
I think that said it all.
Yeah, really.
I felt like it was like when you see a sequel to a movie that just totally repeats the original movie. And it's so frustrating, and you're like, there's nothing new.
This is like Ocean's 55.
New. Yes.
No, wait, what about
cast.
when Booker said that Biden must have been high when he said...
That was a great
That was a good line.
Yeah, it was a funny
okay,
comment.
so you did watch.
I did think it illustrated a little bit, but probably...
That's why I said he was good. Go ahead.
But probably not to the extent that we didn't know already. But who gets flustered and who would shine or could hold their own, I should say, against President Trump?
Yeah, Dana,
that's what I felt like.
Well, two people. I think on Yang, he's like one of the only guys that's talking to one of the only candidates that's talking to the suburbs directly.
Right.
Like he understands the suburbs' anxiety. He speaks to it, and he has ideas for how to deal with their anxieties, whether you like them or not. But he is talking to that suburban group. And I think that's how he's able to maintain this 5 or 6%. He's not going to be the nominee, but he sticks out there. And Mayor Pete seems to be the only one that is able to ad-lib an attack.
Yeah.
Everybody else has things that are well written out for them, so then they know when they're going to cue my line.
Yeah.
It was hard to imagine last night how any of them gets to 270 electoral votes.